There's all types of cruisers out there, and today I wanted to share 7 things I wish more cruisers knew about going on a cruise. Up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Cruisers come in all manners, from first-timers to once-a-year cruisers to top-tier, once-a-month is not enough cruisers. There's nothing wrong if you can't tell your port from starboard or don't really remember the name of every single Royal Caribbean ship that ever existed. Regardless of your experience, going on a cruise should be a fun, relaxing, and enjoyable vacation that delivers the wow that Royal Caribbean is so fond of marketing. So today, I've got 7 suggestions that I think anybody going on a cruise needs to know to enjoy the cruise to their fullest. Number 1, let's start off with something I think that is easily overlooked, especially among new cruisers. New doesn't always mean better. Royal Caribbean's newest cruise ships are amazing pieces of engineering and entertainment. New ships captivate our attention with all the "I can't believe they put it on a cruise ship" features, along with some really beautiful designs. While new ships look amazing, they're not the end-all be-all of what makes a good cruise ship, and you shouldn't force yourself to book only new ships. When you see commercials out there, see new blog posts and videos on YouTube of these amazing new cruise ships, it's easy to capture your attention. I mean, they are really impressive, not taking anything away from them. But that doesn't mean you should only look at new cruise ship and completely disregard existing ships in the fleet. Existing ships offer a ton of great things to do on board. After all, they used to be new ships at one point too, right? More importantly, they offer a great cruise at a much lower cost than a brand new cruise ship out there. Even a ship that is a few years old is going to likely cost less than the newest cruise ship. When new ships join a fleet, and this is not true just of Royal Caribbean, but any cruise line out there, on average, the price of that new ship is going to cost you way more for that vacation than an existing ship in the fleet. In addition, the existing Freedom, Voyager, or Radiance class ships offer a different kind of cruise experience that the newest ships on the block don't really have. Cruising is more than just how many thrill attractions you can squeeze into one sailing. Royal Caribbean has always done a good job of mixing innovation with classics, and you'll not be bored on the older ships. The key is to figure out what you're looking for in a cruise and what features you must have on board, and then choose the right vessel for your vacation. Looking only for the newest ship will not necessarily guarantee anything but a higher price tag. The next thing you should really know is that how much time a good travel agent can save you. Outside of cruises, the role of a travel agent is diminished, but they're still very useful when booking a cruise. First and foremost, not all travel agents are the same, and there is a clear distinction between a travel agent and a good travel agent. Rely on others to provide recommendations, but embrace the good agents for all the time and money they will save you. After someone realizes travel agents still exist, the next thing they'll likely want to know is why they can't just book a cruise directly with the cruise line. After all, it's pretty simple, right? Using a good travel agent is more than just putting your credit card down for a booking. It's about having an advocate all along the way, from figuring out the best sailing and stateroom option, to finding the lowest price, to being available when changes or a problem occur. Anyone that's new to cruising will find travel agents very helpful in answering questions and figuring out the best choices for them. Established cruisers will save so much time with a good travel agent that helps them when issues occur. The bottom line is, finding and using a good travel agent will free you up to do other things and cost you absolutely nothing extra. The next thing I wish everybody knew about going on a cruise is you should definitely get a passport. Americans can cruise from the United States on a closed-loop cruise without a passport, but you should still get a passport. Yes, a passport will cost you money and require some time to fill out the application, get a photo, and get it processed. But it makes cruising so much more easier and far more reliable as well. Having a passport means the cruise check-in and disembarkation process is significantly easier and will speed up both processes. Moreover, if you're ever stuck outside the country, having a passport makes getting home as simple as buying a plane ticket. Being stranded outside the country without a passport is a trying process at best. So do yourself a favor, get a passport before you cruise to ensure a smooth process as possible. And it's an investment in your travel future because, of course, you don't have to only go on a cruise in order to use your passport. You can travel the world. They last for 10 years for adults. They are amazing. It's well worth it. Get yourself a passport. Another thing I wish more cruisers would do is say something if there's a problem. A really common mistake I see is someone on a cruise run into some sort of a problem on board that impacts their enjoyment of the cruise, but doesn't say anything to a crew member about it. All too often, I'll get a comment from somebody who comes back home, goes to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, heck, shows up in our videos, in our comments, and says, oh, I had an awful time at a cruise, this and this happened, but they just sucked it up and basically said, well, it is what it is, and came home angry. Whether it's a malfunction in the cabin, accident on board, disagreement with a crew member, or really anything else that stops you in your tracks, problems should be addressed on board and not after the cruise. I know that feeling of not wanting to be a bother, but Royal Caribbean wants you to have a great experience, and problems should be identified so they can be fixed easily. A classic example is slow service in the dining room, where a waiter may be handling too many tables or a kitchen delay slows everything down. Asking to speak to the head waiter to alert them that there's a problem is a helpful way to get the situation resolved quicker. If you have a billing discrepancy on your bill, speak to guest services on the ship. Don't wait to figure out your billing problems once you get home. If something is not working properly in your cabin, alert your stateroom attendant about it there. Don't complain to Royal Caribbean after the cruise, or to me, because I certainly can't do anything about it. The bottom line is, if something's bothering you, big or small, let the crew members know about it so they can take care of it. Sometimes they can fix things. Obviously, some things are out of their control, but they'll try to make things better all along the way. There are some great examples and stories of crew members saying, listen, I'm sorry this happened to you, but here's a way to make it a little bit better. You never know, but the bottom line is just don't let it ruin your cruise. The next thing I wish more cruisers knew about is to be as flexible as possible during a cruise. Sometimes things don't go your way, and bad luck can be experienced even on a cruise ship. Getting frustrated or even having a meltdown in front of family and strangers happens to the best of us. We're all humans and we all have our tipping point. So occasionally something occurs that just triggers someone and leads to a few minutes we regret later on. One of the best pieces of cruise advice is to try to be as flexible as possible. You can't control everything that occurs, and sometimes you just run into bad luck. The key is not letting the incident ruin the rest of your day or your cruise for that matter. We all experience frustration, but try to remember the classic mantra of don't worry, be happy. And even if it requires the old school method of saying, okay, I'm going to count to 10, take a time out, go back to your room, sleep it off, whatever you want to do, try to be as flexible as you can and understand that sometimes things are out of your control. But again, don't let it avalanche into a bigger and bigger problem. It does no good. Certainly yelling at somebody else is not going to help. So try to take it easy. Remember you're on vacation, maybe have a drink, and let that kind of slide off your back and move on to the next thing. This next tip I think is really important, especially these days, which is that you should always book refundable cruise fare. No matter which cruise you book, be sure to choose a refundable deposit instead of a non-refundable deposit. While yes, non-refundable cruise deposits will save some money, the inflexibility and change fees that come with those fares, in my opinion, make it undesirable. If you want the easiest way to cancel and get your money back, not just a future cruise credit, then a refundable cruise deposit is the way to go. While there are some categories rooms that do not offer refundable deposits like suites, the vast majority of staterooms that you can book will have the choice of refundable or non-refundable cruise fare. In the past, you can make a good argument for either one, but these days, refundable cruise fare is such an important step because of all the uncertainty, and refundable cruise fares are now a must-do. So do yourself a favor, book refundable, pay a little bit more, and it'll be worth it in the long run. And the last thing I wish more cruisers knew about is that change isn't a bad thing. In general, humans don't like change because it disrupts what we're accustomed to. However, change in the cruise industry is inevitable, and we should embrace it. Royal Caribbean Cruises have been evolving since the company began operations more than 50 years ago, whether it was introducing the first megaship, adding a rock wall to a cruise ship, building the largest cruise ships in the world, or changing the size of the ship name on the side of a vessel. Change always irks someone in the beginning, but we eventually get used to it. As cruise fans, we began cruising because of how cruises were, and the changes that have come since are attempts to build upon and improve the experience. One person's wow is another person's why did they change that? Grrr. Royal Caribbean Group Chairman and CEO Richard Fain talked about this phenomenon, and that change is always happening, and it served as a good reminder that nothing in cruises ever stays the same forever. Quote, the only constant is change. We don't know how the future is going to unfold. When we design our ships, we talk about a design formula of 1/3 tradition, 1/3 evolution, and 1/3 revolution. That formula's worked pretty well for us. It doesn't stick us in the past, but it isn't a new normal, end quote. While there is the occasional change that ends up being a mistake, certainly, most of the time, Royal Caribbean gets it right, and embracing the change makes for a smoother and more enjoyable journey. So there you have it. 7 things I wish more cruisers knew about going on a cruise. That's a combination of maybe saving some money, saving your sanity, or being more aware of what's going on a cruise so you're better prepared for it. Let me know in the comments what's something you wish knew about. Not necessarily don't do this or do that, but more of a holistic 30,000 foot approach to cruising. I'd love to read those. And of course, let me know if you agree or disagree with any of the ones that I suggested here today. And while you're down there below that video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on your notifications. That way, YouTube lets you know when we have a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.